Imagine being able to stream every curling game from every sheet from any event, be it your Wednesday league game, bonspiel, or corporate event. Curling Stadium offers an all-inclusive streaming solution featuring high-quality cameras, ease of use, great reliability, and minimal installation. Offering your sponsors customizable ad space on your streamed curling games and being able to sell video packages to your corporate events for increased revenue. With Curling Stadium, you can stream to any device, be it your mobile phone, tablet, or computer. Push the feed to your desired platform, be it Facebook, YouTube, or any other social media. Curling Stadium is simply the way forward. Where it's commonplace in other sports to televise every game, we want to do the same. Curling is a global sport, and it's time it gets the coverage it needs. Make your curling club the next Curling Stadium.
Let's test. Hello, everyone. Hello, curling audience. My name is Rory McCusker, and I will be producing this game for you today, operating the cameras, tracking the plays, and sometimes even talking with you. So last end, the first end of this game. Team Kitazawa had a center line setup, little center guard, and they were trying to flop over to use it, but they couldn't quite. So it was a successful blank attempt from Team Gim of Korea. Team Kitazawa. I'm going to screw that up all day, just so you guys are aware. The prominent curling club in Japan, the Kitazawa. Sounds awfully similar to Kitazawa. So apologies if I screw that up. Both teams trying to snake a rock around that center guard so they can roll behind cover. Neither one able to do it so far. Team Gim fails to remove the yellow stone from the rings. Team Gim with hammer, not overly concerned about that yellow stone, but what that yellow stone may end up doing is force a point out of Team Gim. A force stone, as we might say. Now with a centerline guard already in play, that force may already be on. Now, as you heard me mention, my name is Rory McCusker, broadcasting to you live from Leduc, Alberta, Leduc Curling Club. Oh, magnificent roll there from Team Kitazawa. But I myself am in my condo in Regina, Saskatchewan. Window open beside me, 3 screens filled with curling in front of me, and a broadcasting software that allows me to bring you the images we're seeing right now. But let's get creative with some of these cameras. Maybe get you some detail that you might not see in a normal broadcast. Some expressions on the players, some detail on the sweeping, and some good looks at the house. Sweepers on this one the whole way down, and just kissed the guard. I don't think that one was inside. I think light was the miss there. Just a hair light, so they will spill that into the rings. Team Kitazawa making a decision here to ignore the Gim stone, confident in their center line setup, as they should be. It's a good setup. They will wrap another stone around this center line guard and say, we're okay with you having stones in the house, Team Gim. We are confident enough in our center line steel force setup that we're just going to keep plugging away at that. That stone also coming up light. A little sliver open for Team Gim. Team Gim in those trademark white and yellow jackets. You can recognize them in the club right away. Very unique look. They're around the first guard. They're around the second guard. They will tap that stone out of the rings. Team Gim regains control of the house. Not so much control of the guard zone. Those 2 centerline guards, unless a play is made, are here to stay. Oh, sorry, a little slow on the draw there, people. Looks like a tap and roll type shot coming down the ice for the team out of Japan. A little outside on this one. They will roll the opposite way they were intending to. Sticks around in the rings, but at this point, that zone is fairly irrelevant. Team Gim with Shot Rock. Facing two Kitazawa centerline guards. Now, while those guards are quite dangerous, to start peeling them now would... I don't know if that would really result in your objective this end. Team Gim satisfied with a blank, but that blank would be a far way off, even if they did make a double peel there. So they'll buckle up and say, all right, two centerline guards, not ideal, but that's how we're going to get our 2 points here. Especially line one already. They will put one into the rings to lie 2 points. Certainly some risks here. If they ever come deep, Team Kitazawa could freeze and create a force or a steal scenario there. If they put it at a 45-degree angle with their other stone, they'll leave a double for Team Kitazawa. And acknowledging these risks, they will change the call in the house here. Looks like it will be an in-turn draw to the open side. Team Gim, respectfully, a little hesitant to play into that double center guard scenario. For those of you big curling fans who watch a lot of games, double center guards does not benefit the team with hammer. All it creates is a hiding spot for the team without hammer to try and wrestle back control of the end. So, after narrowly missing those guards, it looks like Team Gim will lie 2 at the end of this shot. To the back of the rings, not so bad. Team Kitazawa will line up this big crosshouse double. It's undecided whether they'll actually go for it. Looks like it's a little too long to take on. They will be satisfied hitting this open stone, knowing that any slip up by Team Gim will allow Team Kitazawa to use those double center guards. Team Gim's mission at this point is to maintain 2 stones in the rings at all times throughout the rest of this end. Looks like a nice little roll there. We'll bring play back to the center, which is exactly what Team Kitazawa would want. Now a chance here, big one, for Team Kitazawa to make the freeze that they've been looking for all end long. This whole end, they've tolerated Team Gim shots in the rings, knowing that there would be a chance for them to either hit and roll or make this freeze. Oh, sorry. There we go. Camera guy. Camera error. Yep. Nearly perfectly frozen on the lid of that Team Gim stone. That's the shot they've been chasing all end, and they finally get it. To bring play into the center, utilizing their two center guards. Team Gim will try to shuffle the angles a little bit with the intention, with the end goal of setting up some type of angles where they can make rocks fly out of the rings with their last one and count whatever stones they've managed to stack. Anytime there's hammer, a team with hammer has stones in the rings, there's always the possibility that something can happen with that last shot. Looks like they just barely don't get shot rock. They do move the yellow stone, which was the intention. I think they would have loved a little bit more action on the back view to try and free up those angles to then make some type of double or angle tap for multiple points. They are going to be hard pressed to score 1 point, and I don't see how they're going to be able to score 2 here, even if Kitazawa does not throw their next stone. Another advantage of the double center guards. They're that much harder to run back now as well. Second last stone of the end, Kitazawa's final stone. Japan's Team Kitazawa lying 1, attempting to protect a scenario they deem acceptable. No need to change anything around here. Just plug in that hole, making sure no more rocks can go through that area. That will leave Team Gim without much of a shot here. I'm sure they will attempt something on the outturn side here. It's there for 1. Gotta wonder if Team Kitazawa may have guarded the wrong side there. Was there any shot for 2 on that in-turn side? I don't think there was. Not too sure what they were taking away there. They may have ended up leaving Team Gim with this outturn tap shot that they were going to play anyway. It being the second end, you'd value a steal more than you'd value a force. A force, of course, an acceptable result, but These girls really going hard on this right away. Team Gim just gunning this rock out of the hack. They're by the guards. And they make the tap. 2 beautifully executed shots in a row. First, Kitazawa's first stone to create that freeze, and then Team Gim's stab at the button to score their 1 point. Really thrilling first end. It'll be Team Kitazawa 1 down with the hammer in the third when we come back. Welcome back, everyone. Semi-final action. Team Gim of Korea. Team Kitazawa of Japan. In what very well might be a preview of international matches to come later in the year. Perfectly placed center guard. From Team Gim. Team Kitazawa shedding the jackets. Both teams starting with their heavy winter coats. You can see the third for Team Kitazawa still wearing her heavy coat and gloves. Sweeper giving the information, or the thrower, sorry. I've thrown that outside. I tossed it out. Oftentimes, that first reaction from the thrower is quite valuable. They know what their normal delivery feels like, and if something was wrong, it's best to let the skip know right away. Hey, I tossed that out. Be aware. Turns out it was quite heavy as well. That extra shove at the end. I'll give a free opportunity for Team Kitazawa to put one behind their corner guard without having to worry about any type of center line setup that Team Gim is creating. Sweepers were on it right away. Seem to like it now, though. This inside-out draw path sometimes behaving a little differently than the outside-in to the button draw path. I have found personally on a lot of sheets, moves a little quicker inside out. Not quite enough to bury. Looks like Team Gim will take a crack at removing this stone. Of course, when the open side to roll to is behind your own center guard, it makes it very tempting. easy control weight here, maybe a firm bumper weight type thing. You want to control this rock's movement, and throwing a lighter hit weight is going to give you that opportunity. Just wonderfully managed there. That is a perfect hit and roll. Let's get that front view. Geez, it would have been tough to draw a stone exactly that perfectly. So to make that on a 6-foot hit and roll, very impressive result from Team Gim. Japanese team will answer with a freeze tap type shot. Of course, with the end goal to bring play back over to their corner guard. We may have seen a run back attempt there with the free guard zone now completed. First 5 stones at the end have went down, so all rocks, including guards, are now available for removal. Instead, they opt for this delicate freeze shot. Really well made. 1 extra foot might have been perfect, but that is going to be, this early in the end, a nice controlling stone in the front of the house. There's only one direction for the rocks to fly, and that's backwards towards the back line, towards the end of the house. So getting your rocks in front of the opponent's rocks, especially early mid-end like this, is priority number 1. Especially as a team with hammer, hoping to make some rocks move around and follow your plan later in the end. So when throwing double center guards, what you're looking for, there's two things you're looking for: separation and overlap. Well, it appears they've overlapped these guards, but they did not quite get the separation they were looking for, which will make this a fairly routine double peel for Team Kitazawa. Well, that's got the weight to remove 2 stones. Just didn't quite get it at the angle they were looking for. That red guard, even though it's no longer a centerline guard, that is directly in your draw path to the 4-foot, which is a place that you're also trying to keep clear as a team with hammer. The general rule of thumb, anything along the 4-foot line in general is your enemy. When you have hammer, allowing your opponent to clog up the middle is what your opponent is trying to do. You, as the team with hammer, are generally trying to keep that area clear for multiple reasons. 1, so you can dictate how much of the rings you intend on using when scoring your multiple points. But 2, and this is the more traditional perspective, is to leave the center of the rings open for the end of the end. If your plan has failed, you will at least have a shot to save the end with a draw to the 4-foot. That is the thinking there. So as you tolerate stones in that draw path, you tell your opponent, hey, I'm playing with fire here. I may not have a shot on my last one. That may encourage your opponent to go a little harder for that steal. Knowing that the in-turn path is now gone, they can focus on the out-turn path and controlling that path. And as we can see from the overhead and the head-on, in-turn path occupied by red. Out-turn path occupied by red. Centerline path currently occupied by red. But as we see with the signaling of the broom, Team Kitazawa will attempt to do something about that. Good back and forth communication here. Some type of run back attempt making its way down the ice. Very interesting. Team Kitazawa sending their own stone through the tiny hole, the port. Just rubbing a very thin edge of each red stone and kind of kicking out the back. That was a unplanned result. It's going to work out okay. Give you a little better view of the side of the rings there. I hope you are enjoying this split screen view. I personally like to see the broom down on the ice, and I like to see the whole team as they conduct a shot. But I would love to hear your comments in the chat here. As we figure out this live streaming process and figure out what works best, I would love to hear from you, the viewer, what views you prefer to see as we watch curling here together. Team Kitazawa with hammer, surveying the landscape, surveying the guards and the rocks currently in the rings, and they seem to think that they can make a multiple score here out of the current setup, as indicated by them not removing that center guard and instead playing this freeze shot. Just a little bit heavy, ends up tapping the red stone, which they were trying to use as backing. A little further into the back of the rings. That is not a missed shot, but it's definitely not made perfectly. As you can see, the yellow stone is available for removal by Team Gim. The only decision now is where does Team Gim want to leave their shooter once they've removed this stone. Not an easy shot by any means. Edge to edge, as we would say. That guard to the one it's protecting. Skip is really leaning on the sweepers here, trying to manage the stone perfectly through the hole. They do, and they will maintain that edge to edge. It's tough to tell what weight they're throwing, but you gotta think Team Kitazawa would be tempted to remove both of these red stones and lie 2 in the rings with only 1 Gim stone to come. Priority, of course, is maintaining shot rock. They're sweeping 4 curl here, so I don't think the double was their goal. Which is understandable. As far as scoring 2 is concerned, of course, you could make that double I was talking about and lie 2 in the rings. There would be an open hit to remove your stone, as well as a potential roll opportunity, as well as a potential double back for Team Gim. So Team Kitazawa deciding, you know what? We've got a better chance of scoring 2 with our skipper's rocks here. Let's just put this first one, this stone that was just thrown, in the best possible place we can, which is top 4, edge to edge. Perhaps they were looking for a smidge more curl to create that jam scenario with the back Korean Gim stone. Team Gim thinking that they can see just enough of this to remove it straight out of the rings. Now, if they were to make this shot and lie 2 behind cover, they would force Team Kitazawa to their first draw, pure draw of the game against 2 points. Very attractive scenario for Team Gim. They will try to tap this rock out with just enough weight to remove the stone as to allow the most curl possible. It does look like this has got a lot of curling to do yet. Tap, tap. It will jam on the back one. They will get a roll to the side of the rings. However, second shot, third shot belonging to Team Kitazawa, which means, although difficult, a shot for 3 on the sheet. Back end of Team Kitazawa discussing at length the details of the shot, how thin of an angle they'll have to hit this red rock in order to avoid the jam with their back stone, which they're trying to count. You got to think priority number 1 here is to make the shot for 2 points. That's quite an easy shot. All you have to do is tap this red stone 2 feet backwards. Boom, you've got your 2 points. And that should be a satisfying result. This shot for 3 adds a lot of complication. You must hit the red stone much thinner. You must manage your weight to the point where you do not roll out after you hit the red stone. Definitely much, much higher degree of difficulty for this shot for 3. Looks like ice. 4-3. Team Kitazawa trying to manufacture a big score here in the third end. Nice, strong, positive release from the skip. Sweepers are on it inside already. Looks pretty good. Overcurling a smidge. They get 1. They roll. They catch the back for a shot. What a play. 3 for Team Kitazawa. That must have been what they were lining up with their brooms for so long. If we chip this, are we going to roll onto this stone and stick around for 3? Really incredible 2 ends here. Team Gim making a brilliant shot in the second end for their single point. Team Kitazawa cooking up a 3 ball here. Team Gim will have hammer when we come back.
Imagine being able to stream every curling game from every sheet from any event, be it your Wednesday league game, Bonspiel, or corporate event. Curling Stadium offers an all-inclusive streaming solution featuring high-quality cameras, ease of use, great reliability, and minimal installation. Offering your sponsors customizable ad space on your streamed curling games and being able to sell video packages to your corporate events for increased revenue. With Curling Stadium, you can stream to any device, be it your mobile phone, tablet, or computer. Push the feed to your desired platform, be it Facebook, YouTube, or any other social media. curling stadium is simply the way forward. Where it's commonplace in other sports to televise every game, we want to do the same. Curling is a global sport, and it's time it gets the coverage it needs. Make your curling club the next curling stadium.
Welcome back, curling audience. We've got a great game cooking up here. Team Kitazawa managing the house in that third end to create first a shot for two, and then after a half make, a shot for three, which they plan out perfectly, allowing their shooter to roll onto a seemingly irrelevant stone in the back 12-foot. They jam it straight on. A really impressive judgment of angles, pre-planning of weight, turn, sweep, everything. That is just an experienced curler's shot for 3 points. Showing us all how these Pacific Asia countries, the potential that exists here for championship level teams. This is not the only championship level team out of Japan, not the only championship level team out of Korea. I think we'll be learning a lot of Korean and Japanese last names as curling enters its bright future. It's international success. Just deciding what to do here. Team Gim. Little tick and roll. Gotta wonder, that may have been the call. Perhaps they were trying to roll into the rings. I'm not too sure. It's still, you know, it accomplishes, it's no longer protecting that open shot rock, but that is as good of a center guard as Japan could, as Kitazawa could hope for after that rock. Ooh, forgot to switch cameras there. So the team from Japan, Team Kitazawa, they'll seal up this center line area. The in-turn side now totally blocked off. They will work on the out-turn side to try and protect the 4-foot where they hope to drag a play, or draw a play, I should say. Sometimes it feels like you're dragging play back to the center line. Trying to commentate, operate cameras, and troubleshoot tech issues all at once here, but that's okay. I love producing these curling games for you guys. I will deal with any difficulties that come our way. It's a pretty cool thing to be able to sit down on a Sunday, enter this Leduc curling club, which would have really never had broadcasted games before. And we get to follow our favorite teams as they develop across the season. More than line scores now, we get to actually watch them play. Some of these teams playing over 100 games a season, sometimes more. We really only get to see the ones on the major television networks, and then at that point, you have to subscribe for cable, which is just a terrible endeavor all in itself. Not anymore. Curling Stadium Live, bringing us the top teams in the world. Oh. Even the top teams in the world boot their broom by accident in the house. That's comforting to know. I do that about 3 or 4 times a game. There we go. Nice close-up of the delivery. I love seeing the little mechanics of each delivery. Very similar, but there's always a few quirks and quirks for each shooter as they throw the rock down the ice. I find it really entertaining to watch just what differences each rock thrower has. That will crash the guard, which of course is an acceptable result for the team with hammer. Opposition's rocks down the center line, no matter where, are the enemy. So especially in the middle of the end here, as you're trying to make your come-arounds, taps, freezes, hit and rolls, those types of shots, the team with hammer has a bit of an advantage. They get to tick the center guard and still consider it a success. Team Kitazawa, however, if they were making a play around their own center guard, they were to miss inside and heavy, tick that guard out of the way. Opposite story. Disaster for them. You've just removed your own strategical setup, and in fact, you've made a shot for the opponent. So as they play to the middle here, in the seconds and thirds rocks of this end, Team Kitazawa will have to be a little more careful about ticking off the center. Although, as we can see, this is already a very clogged center line with Team Kitazawa having control of the forefoot already and throwing the next stone. So really looking like a powerful setup here for the team from Japan, Team Kitazawa. Sort of a little wide. Weight seems perfect. Sweepers are managing it as best as they can. They're able to get it just overlapped, just slightly beyond edge to edge. The ideal position there would be to come full top 8 foot, fully buried, thus taking away both turns for Team Gim getting to the forefoot. Still, very satisfying situation for Team Kitazawa right now, drawing play to the middle, occupying the center of the ice, forcing Team Gim to make the more difficult shots, which any sport, your analytics will justify. If you consistently make your opponent take the initiative, make the harder shots, you're going to come out of it more often than not on top. Bit of weight here from Team Gim, trying to make some movement. They will make a double. That's a great call by the skip there, looking at some trouble, understanding that if she wanted to bail and start clearing guards out, it had to be right then. That was more or less your last opportunity to effectively change the shape of the end. Instead, Team Gim decides to take on the double through the port. If missed, would really, really put Team Gim in a difficult position to even score, let alone avoid giving up 1 or even 2. With that double made, Shot Rock flips to Team Gim, and now Team Kitazawa will have to chase them into the forefoot. Again, avoiding center guards, avoiding changing too much about the end they've created. So it's a big shot from Team Gim. Team Kitazawa will respond here. Past the first guard, past the second guard. Do they have enough weight? Just ticks their own butt. That is okay. They will find themselves nearly frozen up at the forefoot, where Team Gim's going to have some difficulty removing that stone. In fact, this will stump them. Timeout is called so they can understand what their best course of action here is to get to 2 points. Luch has come out for the timeout. Just some quick advice this time, it looks like. Coach has said, play that double. If you find a way around that guard, that yellow guard, just off a nose is going to clear those 2 yellow stones out of the rings. That does not look like double takeout weight to me. Seems a little slow, seems a little outside. That will be a single stone removed for Team Kitazawa. They jam it straight on, and I would say even made the angles a little bit worse. Question now for Kitazawa is, how satisfied are we with what's going on in the rings right now? And the answer is not enough. If they were satisfied enough with how things were sitting right now, they would guard once again down the middle, preventing access to the forefoot. But because of that separation between the yellow and red rock, they don't believe the yellow rock will jam if Team Gim attempts to remove the yellow rock in the top of the 8. Team Kitazawa does not believe that it will jam straight on. So they'll come in and tap it, try to make it a little bit better. Skips first stones here in the 4th end. Kitazawa up 2 points, trying to defend a big end, doing a fairly good job of it so far with center guards and and draws around, but ever since a big double takeout made by Team Gim, Kitazawa has had some more work to do here. This stone coming in perfectly online. Can the sweepers drag it with enough weight to make this tap and improve their situation in the forefoot? Just comes up light. Now, Team Gim does not have an easy way into the forefoot to lie 2 here, but what they are quite happy about is the overlap on those Kitazawa stones. Those are no longer available for promotion. That slight miss light by Team Kitazawa has somewhat nullified those 2 yellow stones as promotional stones. You no longer have to fear a play being made on those. Team Gim looking at a tap. Not with that broom, they're not. Team Gim seeing some open real estate in the 8-foot on the left wing. After all, those 2 yellow stones of Kitazawa's not very deep into the ring, so full 8-foot is going to get them line 2. Control swinging back into the hands of Team Gim. Taking on the tougher shots for sure. Taking the initiative here. And it has resulted in them having a good opportunity at filling the house full of their stones with hammer. Made it around the guard. Now they're just hoping this thing stops moving. Will it stop? It glides just a little bit too far. Shot rock belonging to Team Gim still, but second shot belonging to Team Kitazawa. That's an unfortunate miss there. You had to navigate that port. And you wouldn't want to be curling too hard by the end of it. They were able to navigate the hole, but just couldn't hang on to that weight. Keep the stone around. Very interesting. Team Kitazawa entertaining the idea of running a Gim stone in to remove that rock in the forefoot. A very risky play. If you get this stone too thin, you may end up pushing it into the rings, leaving a shot for 3 or more. Team Kitazawa fairly confident that Gim will not have an opportunity to remove their 2 yellow stones in the top of the 8-foot, so they're taking this call on. If they were more fearful of that, I think you would see them play to the middle. The other interesting thing about this shot is the result is not even that incredible. It doesn't really buy you that much. Really just eliminates one of the potential counting stone for Team Gim. Now she'll throw it confidently. Big outward spin and release. One. Oh, just zips it by. Very good attempt. That was one where the skipper went right over to that stone and could see the angle, could see the potential run back. That was one that she saw in her mind's eye, and yeah, good on her team for not questioning the call like I did. Just letting her throw it. Almost made it so close. So Team Gim will look at their easiest way to get two. They've decided that repeating that draw to the wing is going to be their easiest shot. I can see why. They can use their previous draw as backing now. Manage that sweep to, if it is a little bit heavy or if it is over curling a little bit, they can use their previous draw to stop that rock in a spot where it's going to count for two. The only other option, of course, would be tapping your stone down the center line there. Last rock. Team Gim. Shot for two to tie this game in the fourth end. Really sweeping hard. You can see from that straight on view, it's really curling, and they will not be able to save the rock. It will wreck. It will be a score of 1 for Team Gim in the even fourth end. That means Team Kitazawa 1 point up with the hammer heading into the fifth end. We will be right back. Welcome back to Leduc. Little fourth end stretch break. Both teams collecting themselves, heading off the ice. Little discussion, little chat with the coach, maybe some energy bars, some of that weird multicolored water bottle stuff that they mix in there. Still don't really know what that is, but I'm sure it's important. I've found in my recreational and competitive curling days that there are people who really value that fourth end break. It's a nice little ritual, a reset, get your mind off the game for a second, maybe get some advice from a coach, talk to teammates about all that stuff. But there's all other people who want nothing to do with it, just want the game to keep rolling, don't want to break their focus, don't need snacks or anything like that. They just want to throw the next rock. But these two international women's teams will make the most of their break. We'll take this time to thank our generous sponsors for Curling Stadium Live. Welcome back. We have got first stones of the end for the fifth end here. Really entertaining game between Team Kitazawa of Japan and Team Gim of Korea. Both teams really confidently executing their early end strategies each end, more or less ignoring what the opponent has had to say, which has led us to some very entertaining ends, lots of rocks in play, lots of risks being taken. That's my kind of curling. My name is Rory McCusker, part-time employee of Curling Zone, Curling Stadium Live, and very happy operator of your cameras, YouTube stream, commentary, everything you see and hear before you. Really happy to have you guys with me. Very active stream today. And of course it is. We've got Korean and Japanese teams playing. Geez, that curling community, shout out, just so passionate, so involved. Just check the chat on the sidebar of this stream and you'll see some super fans. I hear it's a national holiday in Japan tomorrow, so people staying up late to watch the game. Love to hear that. Now, I should mention, our friend Min has set up a Korean language stream. So if you feel like watching this game in Korean language with a bit of a different commentary, a different chat box, I am linking that stream in the chat on the side here right now. You can go check out Min's stream. Sometimes we do have a Japanese language stream as well, our friend Manabu over in Japan. I don't think we got one going today, but if you are a Japanese language speaker, always keep your eye out and bookmark, subscribe those pages, because oftentimes we will have an option there for you. Let's follow some shots here. Get this camera hot. Really cooking this one down the ice. Team Gim is. Looking for a bit of a roll. Won't get it. I'll stay right in the center. Big weight. Trying to clear both red stones here. Sweeper's trying to hold it. And they will get it. What a beautiful sweep. Beautiful shot. Cross house double. 10-footer. Looks like I've got Hammer on the wrong team here. It is Team Kitazawa with Hammer. With Hammer and the lead. In a comfortable position for now. Fifth end though, lots of game to go. I don't need to tell you guys that. Any curling fan has seen a comeback victory or a surprise eighth end steal. It is the opposite of rare. These things happen all the time. Got to stay tuned in right to the very end. With teams down multiple points as well is when you start to see some of the more interesting strategy take place as well, as you really try to tempt misses out of your opponent. As we're seeing here, in a tie game scenario, Team Gim might be satisfied to remove that yellow rock and just live to fight another day, but not now. Down 1 point without hammer. Team Gim feeling the responsibility, as they should, to make things happen here. Well, Team Gim will not tuck this rock enough to hide it. Team Kitazawa will be able to remove this stone. And with control in the front of the house, it will leave Gim no option but to remove those stones. They're just in too good of a position, too controlling of a position. If Team Gim were to attempt to force the issue here, ignore those stones, draw around them, they could look at losing the game this end here. So they will say, okay, we tried. Now we'll do the responsible thing, clear these yellow stones out. This looks like oh, may have hit the wrong one first. It will clear both yellow stones out of the rings, and you know what? That may have been a bit of a happy mistake. In the sense that they leave a guard up in front of the rings, which, as we've discussed, without hammer is your lifeline. Without guards, you are only reacting to your opponent, sometimes making much harder shots than your opponent. The open deuce, which we don't see as much anymore. Third for Kitazawa, rocking the heavy jacket all the way into the fifth end. Don't see that too often. Yiji Seoul. Third for Team Gim. Now, if you're thinking to yourself, hey, that guy pronounced that name really weird, you'd be right. Lifelong, terrible at pronouncing foreign names. I am from Saskatchewan, please forgive me. I don't meet many other than Smith or Bob or Janes out here, so I'm practicing. I'll try to get better. But removes the danger there. Kitazawa will again draw around her centerline guard here. They must be thinking, even if we removed our stone around the center, let's say they really wanted a blank. Even if Kitazawa removes that center stone, there's still some junk on the wings and the edges for Korea, Gim's team, to manufacture a force. So in the fifth end, 1 point up with hammer. If you could just snap your fingers and blank the end, you would. But they've decided that there's just a little bit too much junk to clean up and that they may as well go for their 2 points here. fairly open house here. One lonely guard providing some type of action. Team Kitazawa, you got to think they went a little deep there. The perfect spot would be high enough that Gim could not freeze and maintain shot rock. Now, Team Gim can get shot rock in the forefoot with a bit of cover. Team Gim would absolutely love to force Team Kitazawa to 1 point here, giving themselves an opportunity for a multiple score in the 6th. To get back on the right side of the hammer math. It's okay to give up hammer, but it's not the best to give up hammer when you're also trailing. So you want to get that hammer back as soon as possible. Which usually means forcing their opponent to a single point. They will finish this one hard. I don't think they quite got enough of the forefoot to get shot rock, but you know what? That's a 4 out of 5 shot. You've shrunk the scoring area. You have put your stone in an unremovable position. There is no way to get rid of this thing without spilling your own. It's a made shot for sure. Inches from perfection. So I've been talking about hammer math and when's advantageous to score what and this, that, and the other thing. Well, if you want to know where I'm getting all this from, I'm going to link you, my curling audience, to a curling zone page that I think every curling fan should be very aware of. That is the analytics page on Curling Zone, which simply tracks the likelihood of winning a game depending on whether or not you have hammer in which end with how many points on the board. Did that sound confusing? Well, I may have made it confusing, but it should not be. It's that age-old, do I want to be down 1 with hammer or up 1 without hammer in the last end? For the longest time, curlers thought this was a coin flip and just simply a matter of preference. But now that we've tracked some games over a couple seasons here, 3 seasons, we're starting to see the answers to these age-old questions are a little more obvious than once thought. I'll give away the answer to that situation I just described. You want to be 1 up without hammer in the last end, unarguably. I'm sure there are some teams that are very, very good with hammer who would still prefer it, and that's fine. The results indicate you are 60% likely to win the game if you go up in the last end. Up 1. So, Team Kitazawa, I'm sure, is very aware of these ends remaining score hammer scenarios, and they're playing accordingly. So their acceptance of the center guard this end, their attempt to draw around and create a situation to score 2 in the 5th end must be relative to a stat or a report, an analytics number out there that would indicate if they are to get their 2 points, and if they are to go up 3 points at any point in the game, you are very likely to win the game. Gim attempting to shore up their forefoot positioning, get that movement. Oh, such good angles. I'm not sure if they got shot rock. Both of those shots that Team Gim has attempted that made it into the forefoot, both were nearly perfect. But I think, let's see if we can't get Bit of a closer view here. No, I think this is all we're getting. All right. Team Kitazawa will not need to deal with those red stones as they are shot rock at the side of the forefoot. So this is a draw through a slight port here. 3 to 4 foot. Full 4 foot will do the trick here. Got a feel for Team Gim. So close on that tap freeze shot. Would have left no other option than for Kitazawa to draw for 1 point. The same draw now will be for 2 points because of that slight error. Sweepers are pretty confident in this one. And that will lay right on the button. Perfectly managed. Shot for what I believe to be 2 rocks. Looks like the ladies will have a look at this one. Those ones are always tough to judge when the rocks are touching like that. Just something about the way human mind works. You like to see the whole shape as it relates to the corresponding ring. When they're touching like that, it makes it a little more difficult for some reason. I'll see if I can get us a good view of the dial with these excellent PTZ cameras. Curling Stadium Live. Oh, we're getting right in there. That one looks like it dialed about halfway down. Oh, and that one screaming. Yellow by a mile. That'll be 2 points for Japan's Team Kitazawa. Team Gim down 3 points in the 6th end will likely make big plays to stay in this game. We'll see you when we come back.
Imagine being able to stream every curling game from every sheet from any event, be it your Wednesday league game, Bonspiel, or corporate event. Curling Stadium offers an all-inclusive streaming solution featuring high-quality cameras, ease of use, great reliability, and minimal installation. Offering your sponsors customizable ad space on your streamed curling games and being able to sell video packages to your corporate events for increased revenue. With Curling Stadium, you can stream to any device, be it your mobile phone, tablet, or computer. Push the feed to your desired platform, be it Facebook, YouTube, or any other social media. Curling Stadium is simply the way forward. Where it's commonplace in other sports to televise every game, we want to do the same. Curling is a global sport, and it's time it gets the coverage it needs. Make your curling club the next Curling Stadium.
Welcome back, curling fans. I hope you are set for a big end here between Gim and Kitazawa. Team Gim out of Korea, Team Kitazawa out of Japan, playing here. Curling Stadium, Alberta, Curling Series Major. Did it sound like I was leaning in, squinting at the tiny text in the bottom left to read that off? Because I was. Just want to mention my name is Rory McCusker. I'm in Regina, Saskatchewan, broadcasting off of my curling streaming setup here in my condo in the east end of Regina. Tournament happening in Leduc, Alberta. Just marvelous to me that I'm able to connect and bring you these games through this at-home setup. Just so accessible, really feeling the modern technology. And I hope you all are too as you watch multiple curling games at once. Just want to mention the other semifinal, available on our YouTube page. Hey, get that multi-window going. Click and drag one game to the left side, one game to the right side. Boom, double curling. You'll, of course, have to choose which audio you'll listen to. But those are some fun, easy decisions to make on a Sunday afternoon as we take in some high-quality curling. Should also mention my mother, Joan McCusker, commentating that game. We got double McCusker commentary, and for the first time ever. You can decide your favorite, but I'll give you a hint. One of us doesn't get paid, and one of us has been paid to do this for 20 years. So if the one beats the other, that first one's going to be pretty proud of himself. Much like the rest of the game, both teams here building their own first four rocks with almost a... It's like they don't really care what the other one's doing. They have a plan for their first two stones. They'll let the other team execute theirs and just make their shots. Now, the first chase shot of the end will be Kitazawa coming into this corner guard setup, making a little freeze. It's an interesting call, but a very effective one, where she puts it perfectly in front of that red stone. That'll be difficult to remove without also removing your own red at the back, if you're Team Gim, that is. Kitazawa fairly satisfied with their tight center guard and their rock occupying the button. They see no need to improve that situation when they know Team Gim will eventually address it, meaning they will remove that center guard, remove that rock on the forefoot eventually. Team Kitazawa is perfectly comfortable leaving that alone, thus forcing Team Gim to take a break from their corner guard strategy plan here to address that stone. Speaking of the corner guard plan, Team Gim will add another rock. Well, bit of a wonky camera there. Sorry, people. Team Gim really trying to sweep this rock over to make contact. No, they'll blow right by. You got to think that was a little heavy. No need to throw that much weight when you're a team down 3. Any rock in the back of the house is your friend. A tool you can use to achieve your goals of scoring multiple points. Team Kitazawa feeling quite confident in the scenario that they have in front of them. A frozen rock, not frozen, but in good position on the wing there. They also have 2 good rocks in position down the center line. They will use this opportunity to create some overlap, thus making it more difficult for Team Gim to remove their stones later in the end. Very attractive house right now for Team Kitazawa. That's going to take a lot of work to remove. Team Gim lining up the triple run back double. I guess you could call it a triple since 3 rocks are being removed. This will be the first of many difficult shots this end for Team Gim to try and make their dreams come true of creating a 2 or 3 point score. A lot of weight being thrown here. On and off, on and off. 1, 2, 3. That's a marvelous shot. Really impressive, and at a good time as well. Knowing that you have an uphill battle, knowing that you're down 3 points, it's really encouraging when your second can make a shot like that. For the third and skip, it really gives them confidence knowing, hey, we can do this. And so just like that, 3 Kitazawa stones have been removed from play. Team Gim will leave a center guard. However, it's tight enough to the rings, and it's the right color, so that later in the end, it is available for promotion or run back. Team Kitazawa will say, go ahead, make another super hard shot. We will make this relatively easier shot to the side of the forefoot, and that is all you can really think of doing when you're the team up points without hammer, is just make the shots that you can make the shots that are available to you, avoid disaster, try to avoid getting caught up in perfectionism or making some really perfect difficult shot. Leave the difficult shots for your opponent. As the end plays out, it is more and more likely they will miss before you. So that's what Kitazawa has done. They did not play with coming very close to that center guard. They made sure that they had an open draw path. Just get that rock in the forefoot, semi behind cover, and that is the curler commentator's favorite quote: "Mission accomplished." Mike Harris special. Mission accomplished. But it is. Team Gim will afford themselves a chance to work around the corner guard. This was their original idea when they started this end. Let's make a corner guard set up here around the 8 foot. And because of the triple takeout earlier, they have the opportunity to do just that. I would call that another miss heavy. A little too strong. It will leave their rocks in the rings. Neither of them very easy to remove. Skip Ikue Skip of Kitazawa. Feeling the pressure a little bit. Had to think about that one for a little while. She would like to remove as many Gim stones as possible, but they're just a little too covered right now. And just like I was speaking about a minute ago, you don't want to get caught up in difficult shots, shots where if you took the guard, it's a disaster. So now they're going to do something that they know they'll get a result out of, and that's a draw behind the center guard. Ideally, freeze tapping to the back, and it's executed to perfection. Perhaps not perfection, but very satisfying. Position 1 foot in front of their opposition. That will be a difficult shot to remove. For Gim to count her rocks in the rings, she will have to make a play on that eventually. So you've just raised the stakes, raised the difficulty for Team Gim's chase here to score multiple points. Taking risks, leaving it all on the line to score multiples here in the 6th end. This will be a run back on their own stone. Looks quite close. They get one. So they've removed the more dangerous stone. They've kept their run back stone in the rings. Not a bad result at all. They did run into their own rock in the back of the 8 foot. They did improve the situation though, lying second and third shot now. Not a bad result at all. Great finish on that draw. Effectively replacing the stone that Team Gim had just ran back and removed. Team Gim running out of stones to make the magic happen, to get those doubles going, create those angles. All you can really do when you're down more than 2 points like this, and you're going all out for a big end, is to create the opportunity for your skip to make something really nice happen. Keep those rocks around in the rings, keep them second, third, fourth shot, that kind of thing. Open the door for a half make or a miss from your opponent, and to give your skip the opportunity to make the hero shot, make something happen. Well, they have the orbiters, they have the initiative, but this is the second last rock at the end. Team Gim can afford no more misses. Everything must be made now for them to have a shot at 2 or more points here in the sixth end. Skip's first stone will be another run back. Needs to curl just a little bit. They get one, they get two. Unfortunately, they get it a little thicker, a little fatter than they wanted. It does spill their stone out of the rings, which means the maximum they'll be able to score at the end of this is 2 points. Not what they were looking for. Something they would be satisfied with. It would keep the game going. Anything less than 2 points puts you in a very deep analytical hole. Much less than 10% chance of winning the game at that point. Having to put one more rock in the rings in a place that will be very difficult to make a double. I was wondering if they wouldn't come out to the wing and play a tap on the existing Gim stone. They have opted to play the same draw that Kitazawa put on her first. Yeah, that camera is lagging like crazy. I'm going to get you off of there. Oh, just getting it by the center guard. Big sweep. Will not get it there. No, unfortunately, they were not able to repeat the draw that they had just made. Granted, this one was on a slightly tighter line. It could have gotten in more of a slide path, could have gotten in heavier ice. I think she was just light. This will leave not a pure open shot, but very accessible stone for skip Yoonji Kim to make a play on. For 2 points to keep her team in this game. in the 6th end. Very positive release, lots of outward momentum, good rotation. Was it too positive? Was it too outward? They'll make contact. They will roll out the back. It will be a single for Yoonji Kim. Puts her in a tough spot, but definitely still possible to come back, tie or win this game in the 8th end. We will have the 7th end. It'll be an all-out aggressive play for Team Gim when we come back. Welcome back, my lovely Sunday afternoon curling audience. My name is Rory McCusker. We've just seen a two big ends from Team Kitazawa of Japan. First scoring 2 points in the 6th, or the 5th. And then forcing to 1 in the 6th. We are now in the 7th end. Team Kitazawa up 2 points with hammer. The scoreboard would say full control of this game. Team Gim will attempt to set up 2 center guards, which is your most effective strategy for stealing a point. That being fully utilizing the free guard zone rule. And that way, removal of both guards becomes a greater chore for the team with hammer. Gives you 1 extra shot to create your 4-foot setup and continue to guard that. Team Kitazawa, I wonder if they're coming right around everything, occupying that top 8, top 4-foot area. Up 3 points or up 2 points like this, there's a lot of ways to miss this shot. You don't want to miss light and give your opponent another guard, probably overlap. You also don't want to miss heavy, give your opponent something to freeze to. There's only 1 acceptable zone for this shot to be in, and that's top 8, top 4. Looks like another well-managed rock. They will sit top 4, maybe on the deeper side of where they were looking for, but that is a made shot. Not only will Team Gim have to maintain their 2 center guards, but they will now have to move that one out of the way or freeze to it, tempt a miss. Looks like they'll come right around everything, try to get on the button, buried. If they're able to make that, they will likely guard for their life all end to steal 1 or maybe 2 points. Gim's second, attempting this very critical come around. You don't want to miss the forefoot here, because then it is peel time for Team Kitazawa. Looks like she's thrown it quite heavy. Will rest in the back of the rings. A definite miss for Team Gim's chances of stealing a point here. Team Kitazawa playing it safe. You could go for a double peel here, but that would involve ramming that first red rock back and perhaps jamming or just creating a situation you did not plan for. So up 2 points here, you can afford to just make the simple plays, the simple peel, take one guard at a time. Once again, let Team Gim do all the hard work. This one coming up light. 12 feet apart, those misses. Can't feel too good for Team Gim, knowing that the end that might keep you in the game is slipping away from you here. Another basic peel. Looks like a little more down weight this time, just to make sure getting around that top one. But keep in mind, any result where that rock goes away and your shooter rolls off is acceptable. Doesn't really matter how you do it. That's just bonus if they're able to keep that one around. It will spin. Oh, I think it just stayed on for a biter. Again, not that that's of too much concern. The Team Kitazawa. Only concern here is leaving the middle open for your skip to have a shot for one at the end of the end. That is priority number 1, 2, and 3 here. Perfect result there. Removing the redstone, rolling away from the center line, and Operation Get Rid of Redstones continues on as planned for Team Kitazawa. This broom would indicate to me they're trying to make some kind of tap or just occupy the front of the forefoot there, maybe use the Kitazawa Yellowstone as backing. You're getting closer to desperation here. You still have one of your center guards, so you can always use that to maneuver around. Just a little too heavy. No need to top that one so far and roll off so hard. Sweepers indicate this one is up weight. Heavy and outside. Bad combination. And will chip that red rock out of there and roll out themselves. So even though it wasn't very pretty, Kitazawa accomplishes their goal. Get rid of red, roll your yellow off of it. That is the advantage to being the team with the much wider range of acceptable result up to with hammer. The objectives of your shots become much simpler. Now, with that rock that Team Gim had previously bounced to the back of the forefoot, the right of the forefoot there is an angle. There's a spot that Team Gim could put their rock top forefoot, showing about a quarter on the left side, and create a jam opportunity there, so that's what they'll go with. Yunji Gim's first stone. In the 7th end, trying to make something, well, it's not something out of nothing, but something out of very little. Using her center guard, attempting to create a jam angle, not allowing Kitazawa to remove this stone. They will have to finish it over. Looks pretty good if they can get the weight going. It will come up a little bit light, unfortunate, because they had to wait on the sweep. Can't sweep it too quickly out of the thrower's hands. That'll straighten the rock's line of travel out. You have to wait until the second half, maybe even the last third of the rock's journey before really leaning into that brim, getting that sweep on and allowing that rock to curl over while you drag it for weight. That one, they just had to wait a little bit too long. Now, earlier in the end, Team Kitazawa would have removed one of those two red stones, either the guard or the one in the top 12, but we have reached the last stones of the end at this point. If you're Team Kitazawa, there's no blank opportunity here. So, you might as well try to score multiple. You are lying 2 shots, or you are lying shot 2. It'd be a bit redundant to rip off red stones at this point. You may as well just beat Yunji Gim to the spot you know she wants to get to, which is that top forefoot area. You'll likely be throwing a draw on your last rock. Might as well throw a draw now. Sweepers have not really been on this the whole way, although it looks to be finishing quite nicely. And that is a perfectly fine place to put that rock. Of course, they would have preferred a foot higher. So Gim did not have a tap back opportunity. Right now, Gim could tap their top 12 stone right on top of the button and steal 1 point by doing so. Team Gim could also play an out-turn hit and roll type shot to get shot stone. And of course, Team Gim could draw the pin on the in-turn side for shot stone. Any one of these scenarios, quite difficult, very specific for the shot she'll need to play. Of course, no curling game is done until there are no more rocks left to complete the comeback. Team Gim could play a shot here to force Team Kitazawa to 1 stone, taking hammer with a 3-point deficit into the 8th end, attempt to score your 3 in the 8th end, tie the game up, and go hard for the steal in the extra end to win it that way. But your very slim odds get slightly better if you do manage to steal a point this end rather than force. So they will try this out-turn, medium hit weight, hit and roll thing to bump the Kitazawa stone off the button and claim shot rock for themselves. Line looks really good. Very good sweep, very good throw to get shot rock there behind cover. And with the backing at the back of the 8-foot, I don't think there is a way to remove the stone with the out turn. I don't think there is. Maybe with weight, you could hit it very thin and slash it across the rings, hopefully missing one of your many stones. But that's a game-saving shot, perhaps, by Yunji Gim in the 7th end here. The button is available to draw to if Kitazawa so desired. But they think that this chip shot has a much higher reward. You effectively win the game if you make this shot. So here it is. A shot in the 7th end for 2 or 3 points, potentially the game for Team Kitazawa of Japan. Just brushing by the top guard. My goodness. What a shot. I didn't think it was possible. But that just shows what I know. Beautiful shot. To win the game. Team Kitazawa will take it. Not sure what the final score is, but they've put the game out of reach for him. Very well played game. Aggressive strategy. Really a great study in first and lead stone strategy. Both teams committing to a setup and following through with it. No boring ends here. Team Kitazawa will earn a spot in the championship final. That will be played later today, about 40 minutes or so, I would say. Tune in at about 3:30 p.m. Mountain Time, and you should have an update then. Thank you very much for joining me. That was a blast. I'm Rory McCusker for Curling Stadium Live. We'll see you this afternoon.
Imagine being able to stream every curling game from every sheet from any event, be it your Wednesday league game, Bonspiel, or corporate event. Curling Stadium offers an all-inclusive streaming solution featuring high-quality cameras, ease of use, great reliability, and minimal installation. Offering your sponsors customizable ad space on your streamed curling games and being able to sell video packages to your corporate events for increased revenue. With Curling Stadium, you can stream to any device, be it your mobile phone, tablet, or computer. Push the feed to your desired platform, be it Facebook, YouTube, or any other social media. Curling Stadium is simply the way forward. Where it's commonplace in other sports to televise every game, we want to do the same. Curling is a global sport, and it's time it gets the coverage it needs. Make your curling club the next curling stadium.